Hi everybody. So today, who is ready to go camping? I am definitely been very excited to go camping. So I created this artwork in hopes that it would be happening for my family very soon. So the supplies you're going to be needing today for this, a couple different colors of paper that you can easily swap out for other colors if you don't have these. Black for the night for the background, brown for the trees and the logs on the fire and the s'more sticks, or should I say the roasting the marshmallow sticks. Yellow for the stars and the moon, green for the trees, and really any color for the tent. You could use the green, the yellow, the orange, any color you have on hand. Maybe a little bit of white for the marshmallows. You can really just cut off a little corner of any white paper that you have lying around. A couple of large popsicle sticks, and then of course something to draw with, something to glue, and some really good scissors. Now, this is my creation of what I kind of dream about when I want to go camping. My very comfy tent, some beautiful trees nearby, obviously looking up at the stars, having a beautiful campfire and roasting marshmallows. But you add on whatever you think about when you go camping. Maybe you think about animals. Maybe you want to include a bear or a snake or a lizard. Maybe you think about a flowing river or a beautiful lake. You could really include anything that you want. This is just my idea. You come up with anything that you really think of when you want to go camping. So let's get started. So it doesn't really matter what order you draw any of the things that you're including in your campsite. I'm going to start with my tent, but you could start with your moon and your stars. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to draw with a black marker in hopes that you can see it on the camera today. For a tent, all you really have to do is draw a triangle. So I'm just going to draw a nice large triangle for my tent. And then when I cut it out, I'm going to cut a little opening right here to look like I can go in and out of my tent. So really that's it, just a triangle. My next step would be to create my fire for my campfire. I would do a curved line at the bottom and then just some little points at the top. You can do a little or a lot. They're just like little triangles. And really that's all there is to the campfire. So you can just use a little scrap of orange because you don't really need much. And then I'm gonna set that off to the side again to cut out. For my marshmallows, I don't even really feel like I need to draw anything. All I really have to do is cut a really long, thin rectangle and then just cut from there. I don't even really have to draw anything on there because the marshmallows are going to be so small. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to put that off to the side as well. Then I'm going to make some trees. And what shape are trees? Well, the ones that I made are just rounded triangles. If you're a little bit more advanced, you could do something even more challenging. You could shade them or do a specific type of tree. I'm just going to draw some triangles. You could do them really pointy, or you could make rounded triangles, which is what I did in the example that I showed you. Really using the space that I have on my paper so I don't use too much. I could just fill that in. Maybe make some different sizes. And then I'm going to set that off to the side as well because I'm going to cut everything out at the same time. My next thing is going to be to make some stars and a moon. Most people know the little kind of trick to make stars, but start with a diagonal line, right? And then act like you're gonna make a triangle. So it looks like a triangle, but I'm not gonna close off my triangle. I'm gonna now go up this direction with a diagonal line, and then again up in this direction with a diagonal line, and then I'm gonna connect it with a straight line. It's a little trick to draw a star, but then when I cut it out, I'll flip it over like this, and you won't even be able to see the lines that I created. It's just a little cheat for making stars. So let's do that again. So I'm gonna make a diagonal line like I was gonna start a triangle on two sides. I'm not gonna connect them at the bottom. I'm gonna bring it up again and overlap that first line, and then across, and then connect. And then cut it out, and then you'll flip it over. And then you'll have a nice big star. For the moon, you could do a full moon, which is just a circle. Or you could do a crescent moon, which is kind of like you're gonna make a half circle, And then you just kind of connect two little points there. Kind of almost looks like a fingernail, right? So I'm gonna put those off to the side to cut those out with everything as well. And then the last thing I have is gonna be the logs for my fire and the trunks to my trees. So I have a little bit of brown here. So you could just do the trunk to a tree as just like a little rectangle, or you could do a rounded rectangle. That's pretty simple for the trunk of your tree. You could also decorate them or shade them to create your tree trunk. Then I want to make logs to my fire. So I'm going to act like I'm going to make a rectangle, really long and skinny, 2 parallel lines. And I'm going to do a little semi kind of curved line on both ends of that really elongated skinny rectangle. So it's going to be just like a little bit of an oval shape. And then I can do a little design in the inside if I like, a little spiral of the rings of a tree trunk. Maybe some different dashed lines to make it kind of look like a log. If you are a little bit older and maybe a little bit more skilled, you can make this look more realistic. You could also look at photographs of trees or logs. So again, I'm going to make a long line and then another one parallel to it. 2 nice straight lines, like I was going to make a rectangle, and then a little curved line at the end to make a little oval shape. And you can decorate it or not decorate it. That's totally up to you. Since I decorated the first one, I'll go ahead and do that again. Little dash lines, maybe they're wavy, maybe they're straight. It's really up to you. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna make just some really skinny sticks for the skewers to roast marshmallows. And I'm actually not even gonna draw those. If you just cut a very thin piece of your brown off the edge, very, very thin, something like this, and then just cut that in half. Or maybe do 3 if you wanna have more than 2 skewers. So here's 2. And then if you choose, you could also create a sign if you wanted to include that on your campsite. You could really put anything. You could put your family's name, right? Like the Moores, the Morrisons. You could put Camp Fun. You could really put anything that you want. So that's another idea of something that you could include in your campsite. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut everything out that I just drew and arrange it on my black paper. All right, so I've got everything cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with creating my tent. So I have my tent, which is a triangle. It can be any color that you want. If you want it to look like it's open, then just go ahead and cut a little opening with your scissors right through the middle. And then I'm just gonna take one side of my triangle and just carefully fold it up. And something that's really fun to do, which I've done with some other students, is if you have a tiny little photo of yourself or of your family laying around that you can cut out, you could also put that inside the tent so it looks like you guys are inside the tent. So I'm gonna glue this down first. So it doesn't matter where you put your tent. You can put it on this side, you can put it on this side, you can put it in the middle, whatever you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right kind of in the same spot as the first one I did here. Got it opened up. Then I'm gonna get my awesome giant popsicle sticks. Glue, lots and lots of glue on those. And put one right here on the edge. And then if you have any trouble with the glue stick, you might have to get some liquid glue. Sometimes these don't stick super well, but I didn't have any problem with the first one. Just kind of depends on how sticky your glue is. Kind of do a little crisscross, glue that on the other side, and then just start laying out where you want to have your fire, where you want to glue that down. Never want to have your fire too close to the tent, right? Wouldn't want to catch it on fire. Do maybe a little X. Glue your flames right on top. Obviously, I'm going a little bit quick. I want you to have lots of time to make your own. So you take your time, right? And then where am I going to put my little moon? I think on this one, I'm going to put it over here in the corner. And then I'm going to start laying down my trees. And I'm not going to glue the bottom of my tree until I kind of figure out where they're all going to go. so I can put the tree trunk in. Oops. Let's leave a little space at the bottom for the tree trunk. Maybe I'll put one over here. Maybe there's one over here. Trees could be anywhere. You're camping, right? Put one right here. And then now I can start adding in my tree trunks. A little glue on those. There we go. Lots of space. I haven't glued the whole part of the tree down yet. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do that for each and every one. Okay, I'm going to come back and finish those, and then I have my stars that I cut out. Remember how I drew them? And then I would flip them over, and then you don't have to look at the drawing part that you did. And put one over here by the moon, kind of creeping up behind my tent. Right, and then also don't want to forget my cute little roasting marshmallow skewers. So put one right here above this flame. And then so you just start deciding where you want to lay everything out. My cute little marshmallow. Maybe you want to also include a chair or a nice big log that somebody's sitting on. Maybe you want to draw a couple animals or include some photos of you or your family. I always think that's really cute if you have photos lying around. Whoops. Right, what else could you include? A sign maybe? Whoops. Keep saying whoops. So maybe I want to make a sign too. So maybe I'll put a sign right here by this tree. And then what could you put on your sign? Talked about this earlier. You could put like your family's name. You could just put camp fun. I'm going to leave this one blank. That way you can think of anything that you could possibly put on there. So I'm going to keep gluing everything on, but that's really all there is to it. It's up to your own creativity and what you want to include, what you imagine in your mind from any camping trips that you've already been on, or maybe you've seen in movies if you've never been. So it's really up to your imagination. So I really hope that you had fun making this project and it makes you want to go camping. And thank you for making art with me.